I'm your host Joel Perez, and you're watching Wrestling with Politics. And today we're going to be talking about the main thing that drives me absolutely crazy about American politics. Most Americans, they fall for this trap every single election cycle. And honestly, I don't understand why. Of course, I'm talking about the two-party system where Democrats and Republicans dominate the game every single 4 years. It's almost guaranteed that one of these two major parties is going to win no matter the competition. So here's the main question for this video. Why do so many Americans keep falling for this? What they say, the definition of insanity, it's doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. And perhaps these deep state forces, perhaps they finally have driven us insane, because every 4 years without fail, no matter what, Americans decide that they're really fed up with the Democrats. So what's the solution? It must be the Republicans, right? And by the time 4 years have passed with the Republicans in charge, we're so fed up and we're so done with them that what's the solution now? Well, it's gotta be a Democrat, right? And just like that, this cycle of insanity continues. And for some reason, we just can't seem to get past it. For some reason, people keep thinking that maybe if we just vote in this different person from the same two parties that have failed us over and over again, that maybe this time, perhaps something's finally gonna change this time. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but that mentality, it's exactly how the powers that be want you to think. Because over and over again, whether it's Barack Obama, whether it's Joe Biden, or whether it's the most recent example of a complete sellout, our current president, Donald Trump, over and over again, we've been hit over the head with this lesson that no matter what, no matter who comes into power, whether it's a Democrat, whether it's a Republican, just like Joe Biden promised his corporate donors before he was elected, we all know that nothing will fundamentally change. And even worse than that is that not only has nothing changed in recent years, things have only gotten worse. People used to be able to say that no matter who's the president, at least it has no effect on my life, right? Well, guess what? You can't even say that anymore. The president, it does have an impact on your life, and it's not for the better, because nowadays the president, he actively makes your life worse. Nowadays, the president actively involves Americans in overseas wars that have nothing to do with them. Nowadays, the president sends the U.S. taxpayer dollar money overseas to fund those wars instead of solving problems here in America. Nowadays, the president uses his power to shut down the economy while $5 trillion of your wealth is transferred to the richest top 1% in our society. And so the biggest problem of all here is this, and it gets to the exact point of this video. It doesn't matter who's president. It doesn't matter if it's Joe Biden. It doesn't matter if it's Donald Trump. And it damn sure doesn't matter if it's a Democrat. And it doesn't even factor in if it's a Republican. No matter who it is that's in power, the same decisions are going to get made. No matter who it is that's in power, the interests of the large corporations and transnational elites will be put first. And until you understand that, you're going to have a much harder time understanding what the hell's going on in this country. Because you want to talk about wrestling with politics, this whole discussion is the very root of the name of this channel. Because this is the biggest comparison that could be made between the world of pro wrestling and the world of politics. Think about it. You've got two opposing sides that claim to hate each other really bad, but in reality, they both work for the same guy. And that's exactly what's going on here between the Democrats and the Republicans. And for some reason, people, they just can't seem to see this. The Democrats and the Republicans, they're both working for the same guy. They're both funded by the same group of corporate interests, and they both serve those groups before they serve the American people. And the proof, it's in the pudding. The issues that the Democrats and the Republicans claim to disagree on, it's all about culture wars, surface level crap, things like abortion, guns, LGBTQ rights. And this isn't to minimize those issues, but these are all safe issues which it's fine to disagree about. But if you look a bit deeper past these surface level issues, you'll find that on nearly every single major issue, when it comes to things like war, when it comes to things like economics and anything that will substantially improve the lives and well-being of average working class Americans, there's a unilateral consensus among both parties to screw over the working class and put the donors first every single time. This is why no matter what, every single year, the votes are always there from both parties to increase the military budget. This is also the same reason why the votes are never there for common sense policy positions that the majority of Americans support. Things like Medicare for all and raising the minimum wage. Because both parties, no matter how much they might try to propagandize you to believe otherwise, especially the Democrats, they both always serve the interests of the military-industrial complex. And if you really want to get into who's running the show, both parties are beholden to the interests of the Israeli Zionist lobby. That's why Israel has universal health care and we don't, because both of our political parties have been bought off and are more interested in serving the interests of a foreign country than serving the interests of their own people. So that begs the question that, to be honest, I myself have been struggling with this at this point, and that's that same question that I asked at the beginning of the video. Why do Americans keep falling for this? How many times can we fall for this same trap? How many times can we be stabbed in the front? Because at this point, we're not being stabbed in the back anymore. We're being stabbed in the front, especially with Trump. The corruption, it's out in the open. It's right in your face. So how many times are we going to keep playing this same game? How many times are we going to keep going back and forth between the same two flavors of shit before it's time to finally try something different? Before we finally realize that it's time for something new? Well, if you ask me, if you want to see something different in 2028, actually screw 2028. If you want to see change today in the politics of the United States, my best piece of advice for you is this. You need to abandon the Democratic and Republican Party as quickly as humanly possible. Because I don't know the name of the party yet. It might not be the Green Party as I've supported in the past. It might not be a party that you've even heard of before. It might not even be a political party at all. But I can say this for certain. The future of our politics lies outside of this broken and evil two-party system. The future of our politics is in a people-funded, independent grassroots movement that doesn't take corporate money and that completely rejects the influence of the deep state, of the military-industrial complex, and of the Israeli Zionist lobby. Now, whether or not that party already exists, or whether or not it's our job to build it, I'm not sure about that, but I know this for sure. If you're willing to join me in building that party, I'm willing to join you in that fight, and I'm willing to go down the fight required to build that movement, because one thing's for certain, and it's we cannot keep going down this same path. We cannot continue to allow these same two parties that have sunk in this country. We can't stay on this same sunken ship. We need to turn this ship around And in order to do that, we first need to get off the sinking ship that is the Democratic and Republican parties, that is this failing two-party system. So that's all I have to say for now. You guys can let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Do you agree with me that this two-party system needs to go, or do you think that the Democrats and Republicans are actually good for America? I don't know anybody who believes that, but be sure to sound off in the comments down below, and don't forget to check out our previous videos about Trump's attack on Venezuela and our latest video talking about why capitalism is failing you. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you all